Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Of course, Bitwig 6 today is the day. The beta version is out, beta 1. Super cool update. I have done a rather more extensive walkthrough of all the new features over at Sonic Academy. I will link that video down below for you to go and check out if you want sort of a bigger overview of all the stuff. I wanted to do one or two sort of smaller videos just with sort of fringe use cases of some of the new features. Obviously, this is an ongoing beta, so there's bound to be changes over the next couple of weeks. I've also only had a couple of days with a pre-release version to check things out, so I'm discovering stuff as I go as well. However, yeah, there's just a ton of really cool things that you can do. So I wanted to take a look at kind of just a really cool use case that you could do with the new automation system as well. Let's dive straight in and take a look at this. Right, so of course, one of the big announcements is that the automation has been moved to the clip system now. So we're going to bring in a polymer here. So we've got something to work with. And I wanted to just show you an idea here for creating sort of libraries of usable automation data that you can bring in and out of various different projects and, you know, use them for different things as well. Because the automation now actually shares the same system as a lot of the, any sort of curve-based modulation. So for instance, if we were to, for example, I'm using the Bitwig Connect here. I'm going to just sort of grab a cut-off control there and play. And I'm just going to do some random stuff. Just lock that in place there. Okay, so just for the purpose of this demo, that automation data, you can see it's actually in a clip now. We can commit that to, if we do flatness track automation, we can commit that to the track automation, which would be like it was before. But also at any given time, we could use the time selection here. We can grab a section of this and just hit Control-G and it'll group that automation into a clip that can be used in the clip launcher. It can be interchangeable between different automation lanes. If you want one of these to be used on the volume control, you can do that. But you can also now save these as launcher clip libraries as well in your library. So if you save this, you could just add this to your library as something that can be reused somewhere else. The other cool thing with this is that you can also sort of use them between things like segments, for example. Any clip-based modulation source, you can just drag this in, and there you go. They are completely interchangeable, and vice versa. You can drag this out and use it here. The other cool thing that you can do with this is if you are just kind of experimenting a little bit, let's go to the note grid, for example. Note grid or polygrid or whatever, it makes no difference really. You can do some interesting things like, let's say even take an ADSR, for example. We'll just grab an AD envelope here. And let's run some gates into this. So we'll go with triggers. We'll set this to trigger. And maybe let's run 16 triggers into this. Let's also set our phase differently here, so we can use a bend, for example, and then bring our phase in through the bend instead. If we look at the scope now, we actually want the CV data instead. Just make sure that this is set to mono as well. And change this to slow. And let's bend this rather. Okay, let's go the other way. Okay, so we've got some interesting stuff happening with that now. We could also maybe adjust these if you wanted to. The decay time of that. Once you're happy with what you have there, all we can do here is just add a CC output. So we'll just grab a CC out. We'll connect the output of our envelope here to that. We're going to channel 1, CC1. Let's close this down. We can open up a new channel here if we wanted to. And then maybe we just go to our channel input. And we'll connect that to the output of the note grid channel. So that one we're sending to here. And let's just we can just play back now, and let's make sure that we've got MIDI lane set up there so we can see what's happening. And let's just hit record. Right, so we're now recording the output data from that note grid as automation data on our LAN. Now, you've always been able to do this. You could always record in this way, but it just wasn't as useful because you would typically have stuff as track automation like this. You could copy and paste parts of this if you wanted to, but right now you can take this and decide that this is actually quite a cool tool to use at a later stage. We can just hit Control-G again to group that. Now we've got a clip that we can use anywhere we want. We could then just send this to another track if we want. We can change the timing if we want, and we can also add this to our library again. So we'll just say insert. You can insert from libraries as well. Let's just go save, launch a clip to library. We'll use for that's fine. Right, so let's go back to, let's just go and insert another polymer here so we can just take a listen to what this automation is doing. Cool thing now is I can also just kind of play this back live. Because that automation is not linked to any notes specifically as well, we can flick this into automation mode. And bring this into the polymer channel. Let's just we'll grab that, for example. And let's bring this into automation mode. We can bring this in here. We'll have that play back now. That's kind of a useful thing to have, especially that one, for example, like I showed you before. We could just drag this into segments now, for example. We could actually just have that linked to, we can even remove that now. And on this one, we now have our volume being controlled by we could speed that up and down. And it's a really useful tool to have in your library that you can call that in at any given time. Just go here and you could say user, there we go. And I've got that same automation back again now. Now, one other cool place that you could use this is, let's say, for instance, we want to do some more gradual automation. Now, you could actually do let's do something really nuts here. So let's take this, we're going to stretch this one out. But we want to kind of get more gradual automation of this one. So we'll go to our time editor here. And let's say we want to do something like this. We'll hold down the Alt key so we can skew this over. We'll duplicate that. We'll skew this one up again. And let's bring that down. So we've got something interesting happening here over time. And let's go back again. Maybe we want this even longer. I guess let's go full 8 bars here with this one. And let's just also, so I don't have to edit this. I'm just going to play a chord in here. And let's just change that back to regular envelope there so we don't have that. There we go. Now, you used to have the old automation window. You could do sort of additions to automation. It was additive automation on top. There's interesting things that you can do with that now as well. Let's say, for instance, we want to take this automation and we want to automate this automation at halftime with this automation, if that makes any sense. So what we could do is, let's say, for instance, we use a macro, or not a macro, we'll use an additional automation source like the curves, for example. And we could use this automation as a source for our curves. And let's change the timing to bars, and we'll do it half the time of this. We'll automate this by itself. So let's go to 4 bars here, for example. We can then assign this to whatever's being automated by that, by doing this here. And now you've got this occurring. Not the most useful example here, but just to show you what you can do, it's pretty insane. And then, of course, there's all the other tools that they've added, like being able to add in random amounts for all of this stuff too. In this case, we could, this entire thing, we could maybe just add a little bit of spread to this or whatever. Anyways, just some really weird ideas of stuff that you can do with the automation in Bitwig 6. Go check out the Sonic Academy one as well. I cover all the stuff like keys and more of the aliases and editing tools as well, like the drum editor. Cool. I'll catch you guys soon. Till then, take care. Cheers.